Good morning, good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you?
Doing well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm great. Please introduce yourself and tell me how you heard about us.
My name is Antoine, Antoine Little. A friend of mine has been speaking highly of Miss Paula for several weeks and months. And then it has encouraged me to sign up for this informational session today.
Okay, well, welcome. Thank you. Thank you. All right. And where are you from?
I'm from Marietta.
Okay. All right. Miss Whitfield, please introduce yourself. Where you from? How'd you hear about us? What's your background?
So I am from Atlanta, born and raised. I am a real estate broker, and I've heard about you over the last week from about 5 or 6 people. Yes.
I got the word is out on the street, huh? The word is out on the street, as
The
they
word
say.
is out on the street. I mean, I was at a golf event and I was in a commercial real estate class, and I heard your name in both places. So I said, and when we got to talking about it, one of the girls who was sitting next to me, because I was telling her the story, how I came across your name, she was like, "Oh, they got an information class May 6th. I just registered for it.
Okay, well, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Miss Stowers, Janelle?
Yes, Stowers. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Please introduce yourself. How'd you hear about us?
Yes, my name is Janelle Stowers. I'm a real estate broker here in St. Louis, Missouri. I actually heard from you through a cohort that's currently enrolled in one of your classes right now. So we were at a real estate conference in Columbia, Missouri about a month ago. And we were chatting about our future plans after real estate. So she told me that she was taking this class, and I've always been interested in procurement. So I thought that it'd be a good time for me to jump in.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Welcome.
Introduce yourself. Unmute yourself and introduce yourself. Shaq? All right, Shaq. We got.
Sorry, I walked away for a minute. My name is Shaq. I am a real estate agent in New Jersey and Maryland. I just got my lender's license. I'm still learning that, but I am here because I'm interested in learning how to supplement the outside of things. We're going through a crazy time in real estate, so it's kind of given me a little opportunity to kind of look for something that's not going to rely on other people's decisions. So I just wanted to make sure I had something set up where I don't have to rely on other people to get a check, and then also to help and to be a part of the biggest buyer ever, which is the government. So
I'm feeling you guys. I feel your pain. I really do, I'm going to show you something because people don't really understand what's all involved in this space. What you all do, you all work 7 days a week, on call, on a hope and a pray. Lord, we hope we get to, we hope we get to the closing. I am getting ready to, I have someone that keeps joining me that has an AI address. Can you please introduce yourself? Otherwise, I'm going to have to disconnect you. ENF Global Otter.ai. Getting ready to be removed, sir or ma'am. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. All right, we had about 60 people register, maybe half will show up, but my thing is who's supposed to be here is supposed to be here. So I welcome all of you. And glad that you're interested in this space. And our goal is to shift your mindset. And for me, I'm passionate about what I do. Because this is a game changer for my community. The challenge is my community don't know anything about this. So it is 9:31. I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this. I'm gonna turn off my camera so that I don't distract myself. We have a lot of information to cover today. So again, thank you guys for joining me. I'm glad my name is out on the street, as they say. And that you all are getting it, because for me, you all are the game changers for the next generation. It's all about generational wealth for me. And what does the great grandchildren look like? So we're going to go ahead and get into the presentation and look at starting it off. All right, who are we? The Government Procurement Innovators. We are your federal procurement solutions for small businesses. I will say consistently, at least right now, while this administration is in place, they have ordered an executive order where they really see the disparity that has occurred for underserved communities. So last year, the president issued an executive order where he was mandating that these agencies increase their contract awards to 11% for small disadvantaged businesses. And for those of you who don't know about small disadvantaged businesses, we'll cover that shortly. Currently, it is 5%, but he's looking and mandating these agencies to increase that goal to at least 15%. He also recognized that these agencies was consistently using the same old players over and over. So he identified the areas that they were using it. They were using it in this category called category management. And part of that, he's saying, you all have to stop awarding contracts to the same old players, and you have to now identify new businesses, and we're going to monitor how you are spending those dollars in this category. So I really do say in these last 3 years, I've never seen the opportunities that's been available for our community ever from the financing side, and now he's trying to do it from the contracting side. I always like to start off on my background for those of you who don't know me and hear how I actually got into this game. Originally, I'm from Asheville, North Carolina. After college, I went to Washington, D.C., and my first job was with a company that was part of the 8A program. The 8A program, doing event planning. I ended up attaching myself to one contract, was a part of that program. And every 3 years, I went to a new company on that same contract. And as I was going through those companies, I was studying their businesses, what was making them successful. Because I knew at 25, I was going to own my own business. So 10 years later, I started my first business. First year in business, I received my first $1 million contract. Second year of business, I applied into this program that we'll discuss, the 8A program. And I grew the business pretty quickly to almost $15 million in contracts over a 5-6 year period of time. And that's where the problem began, because I really didn't have a clue what I was doing. The government was awarding me millions of dollars of contract, and I had no infrastructure. I went from a project manager to running a multi-million-dollar company with no idea and doing on-the-job training. And that's really where the problem began. I also had 2 business partners, one who felt like he could run his personal expenses through the business. The last straw for me was a $3,000 custom-made pinstripe suit with his initials going down the pinstripe. It's like, you have lost your mind. I had my assistant to audit his credit card. He takes her in the elevator and threatens her. I ended up terminating him. He then conspired with 2 employees to sue me and the other partner for sexual harassment. After 2 years of attorney fees, $125,000 in attorney fees, $100,000 to buy him out, I was no longer able to sustain the business, had no more operating cash, and I transferred $7 million of contracts to another 8A company. So one of my lessons learned from that aspect of it, any of you who currently have W-2 employees, make sure you have what they call employment practice liability insurance. Had I had that insurance, that would have covered the cost of the partnership buyout as well as any settlement against any employee. Shayla, if you can write that in the chat, I'd appreciate it. Employment practice liability insurance. After closing the business, that really became my passion, because I did not want anybody to go through what I went through. So I volunteered as a SCORE counselor, which is a resource partner of SBA in the Washington, D.C. office. I was actually one of the first Black female SCORE counselors in that office. Through 2 years running out of money, I strategically positioned myself to be hired by the SBA, Small Business Administration. I was hired in the Philadelphia district office, and that office was also the office that actually processed the applications for people participating in that program. My job was to service the businesses once they were approved in that program. After 4 years in Philadelphia, I relocated here to Atlanta. And while here in Atlanta, I was certified as a contract specialist. And for me, that was the missing piece, meaning I'd run a business for 10 years. I'd worked at SBA for 7 years and I understood their rules and regulations, but I wasn't quite sure how those agencies actually put the solicitations together for you to compete. So by becoming certified as a contract specialist, that allowed me to see the whole picture. I left SBA in 2015, and throughout my career, I've trained more than 10,000 businesses on how to market to the federal government. I've assisted small businesses to win over, I'm gonna have to up that number. I have one of my clients who actually is a real estate broker who won a $1 billion contract last month for 10 years. So the methodology is working. I've also written a book called That's Crazy, Recognize Crazy and Run. The names have been changed to protect the innocent, but it kind of documents my journey and story in managing that first business. So For small businesses entering into this space, and what I saw while working at SBA and working with many of their resource partners, people will come to our workshops and we'll tell them, register in SAM. This is what SBA does, but no one is really sharing the process. So you leave there with great information, but not quite sure what to do with that information. And it's the same thing as it relates to SBA. I mean, the federal agencies. No one understands SBA's rules, but SBA is a major player in this area. So our goal is to bring the two together because everything is disconnected. The barriers that tend to happen for small businesses entering into this space is first understanding the government language. The government use a lot of acronyms, and I do hear that. I have a lot of real estate agents in here. You use acronyms, and you all actually are playing in the government space indirectly because you are processing all of HUD's forms. Understanding the process. What is the government actually looking for? Understanding what certifications you qualify for. And once you determine that, what type of supporting documentations will be required in completing that application. And because the government is structured the way it's structured, these websites are not connected. These agencies operate in a silo, meaning nobody talks to each other. And so for you as a small business, that becomes the challenge because you're getting a little piece of information from here, a little piece of information from there, and it never makes sense. So that's what made me create GPI in my program. It's based on my lessons learned. I realized the gap was no one was combining the business side with the government side. In this space, you're going to have either someone that's worked from the government that's never run a business, and that's what I found working at SBA. No one actually had ever run a business there. Or you're going to have people who we refer to in the industry as industry consultants that's never worked inside of SBA. So this program truly is based on my experience on both sides. What I realized in working with small businesses over the years is helping them to understand in this space, there's no need to limit your business. Most small businesses will start their business on their skill set. The whole system is designed for you to be a laborer. It's designed for you to work for someone else. All of the degrees, the MBAs, all of that, they're teaching you to work for a corporation. And so my mentor pulled me aside when I started that first business because I started marketing the first business as a event planning company. And he asked me, why are you pigeonholing yourself? And when he said that, that made perfect sense based on those 6 companies that I'd gone through and those that were successful. So from that day forward, and after I received that first $1 million contract, I was no longer doing events. I had staff. So I changed my business model to a management consulting firm, and that's what everyone is doing in this space. And I created divisions. I created an event planning division. I created the IT division because I had to build a website, so I had to outsource that service anyway. Why not sell it separately? I created a publication division because I had to create materials to advertise for the meeting. Why not sell that separately? created a database division. I'm collecting all the registration. Why not have a database division? And once I created those divisions, I started getting contracts in those areas. Hear me now. Your job is to manage the business, to find the opportunities and find the people to work on those contracts. That's how the system is set up. The system is set up on labor and the land. That's how we were brought here. We were brought here based on the free labor and the land. So we want to get both sides of it. You make money off of people. If I hired an event planner and I paid that event planner $15 an hour, I'm billing out the government at least $35 an hour. And my salary, benefits, and everything is covered in these contracts. So our goal is to help you in our first module, which is business ready, to understand first your structure, understand what SBA is going to be looking for when you start applying into these programs, and making sure that you're not even pigeonholing yourself into any industry. And those of you that qualify for the 8A program, which is again a program to my heart, that's the game changer for my community. So the first thing that you need to understand is not to limit your business. It has nothing to do with your skill set. Secondly, all of SBA's programs, all of these contracts truly require you to collaborate. Can I say that again? And can the church say amen on that? Collaboration is key. When I look at, we have 31 people online right now. That's that's $100 million contract, right? Everybody can get fed. The challenge is we have not been taught how to collaborate. So in the second part of the program, you all are placed into teams. And at that stage, we are the government. We have to understand if we collectively pool our resources together, then there's no stopping us. When I look at what Martin Luther King did, how do you all think Martin Luther King got America to pay attention? What was the driving force? Anybody? This is open. Someone unmute. What was the driving force that made America?
Hello, Ms. Watts. I think the driving force was that he got the people together. He got the people to believe in him, and it changed with the numbers. You know, the number of people that he was able to get to follow him, they realized that this was serious.
I say he hit them in their pocketbooks. And that's why I say we have no excuse. Thank you, Lisa. For a whole year and a half, it was about economics. He stopped it. So again, I want us to understand the power that we have collectively rather than individually. Number 3, you must have the infrastructure to support these contracts. What do I mean by infrastructure, anyone? Anybody?
I think that means having your back office in place.
Can you define back office?
Having your financials together, having the people managed properly, being able to provide documentation.
Very good. You heard I got sued. That's your accounting, your HR department, making sure you understand how to set that up, that you're covered. Because again, most of us spend the time chasing contracts But the contract is only as good as your infrastructure. So they have to come hand in hand. And that's part of the things that we're training you in the program. All of this works collectively together. Does anyone know when the government starts and ends their fiscal year? What's the fiscal year of the government? Does anyone know?
I believe it's October. Is it
That is,
October?
that is correct. Very good. October 1st to September 30th. Now, what does that really truly mean? Because most of us, we don't really pay attention to what's going on in Congress, but we need to pay attention to what's going on in Congress and these budgets, because it affects everything that we do in our lives. So in this space, the best time to really begin marketing to those agencies is generally between October and February. Because what happens is these agencies are operating on a limited budget, which is called a continuing resolution. Until Congress passed that budget, they're not fully funded. Once that budget is passed, which generally, again, happens December, January, the agencies get their money, and then it filters down to all the different branches and offices of those agencies. So from April to September, we like to say it's Christmas time. Really closer to July and September, it's Christmas time, because we know the agencies are trying to get rid of their money and they're not really trying to talk to you. So our goal is to teach you strategy, understand how you're going to market to them, what you're going to say to them, and what are they looking for. Why federal contracts? Every year, the government set aside contracts for small businesses first. And that's my goal. These additional certifications is the gravy train. Our goal is to make sure you understand first how to compete as a small businesses. These certifications are just the extra gravy. You do not have to have these certifications, these other additional certifications, to compete. Because again, first, the government set aside 23% of their contracts for small businesses, and they're just goals. They set aside 5% for women-owned, 5% for small disadvantaged businesses, 3% for service disabled, and 3% for hub zone businesses. And so what that means for you, on one hand, the more certifications that you have, you're helping that agency achieve their goals. So if I'm a small business and the agency awarded me a contract for $100,000, that agency now gets credit of $100,000 towards their goal. Now, if I'm a small business and woman-owned, now that agency gets $200,000 credit towards their goals. So that's how the certifications come into play. Although it's just a goal, SBA has developed what they call a scorecard that grades how these agencies are faring as it relates to contract awards in their programs. They haven't updated last 2021s. They're usually a year behind on their website, but you can see the scores that they've given the agencies as a whole as it relates to their program. I want you to pay close attention to this number, 59 billion. And you can see for this program, it was close to 11%. And I talked about that 15% earlier. You can see here that during this time, these agencies did not meet their women-owned goals or their hub zone. So your part of the strategy is targeting those agencies that may not have achieved their goals. But you can see it's a whole lot of money that's been awarded in these programs. And just as a small business, that's $145 billion. The 8A program, again, I will go into details about that program, but I wanted to provide you with a snapshot of what agencies were awarding contracts in that program in FY20. And you can see everybody uses it and some use it more than others. So again, your strategy is targeting agencies that use these certifications. I also wanted to give you a snapshot of the industries that were awarded contracts in this program, so that you can see there's no need to pigeonhole yourself. Hear me again. I do not have to know anything about that contract to win. My goal is to find the people that have the skill sets for that contract. Is the church hearing me today? Can I get an amen? Y'all hear me?
Amen.
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 Okay.
Amen.
Amen.
This report came out last year, and I always follow it. It came from the Office of Inspector General, which is a third party that comes in and evaluates every agency's programs. And so part of this report was very revealing to me. It was showing me one thing, and it was also disappointing. They're telling me as of 2021, there's only 4,900 businesses in this program. This program is geared for minority-owned businesses. It's peaked, and when I started at SBA, there were close to 10,000. Something is going wrong because my belief is nobody understands these programs, and outside of DC, nobody knows about it. So if you look at this number and they're telling you how much was awarded in this program to these 4,900 people or businesses, they were killing it. They had no competition. So my goal is to get you engaged, but I don't push you to it until you understand the goal. I mean, understand how to leverage this program. And I, again, consistently would say, because I'm here in Georgia, when I left DC and I was in Pennsylvania, and then when I moved here, I realized that, again, nobody understood these programs. This was the number of firms that was in this program, and it generally stays around there. This chart tells a story. Can someone see the story that I'm seeing? What story do you see? Anybody?
Georgia seems to be killing it.
Seems to be what?
I'm sorry, in Georgia, they seem to be awarded a lot of money.
No, ma'am.
Isn't that the sum of grand total?
Georgia is only getting 30% of the contracts. Everybody else
It's 70%.
is 70%, which proved my point when I was working there, when I'm at these events. You're going to have a lot of businesses from DC here winning contracts. Why? What's here? What agencies are here? Someone?
The CDC?
CDC? What else?
GSA.
It's 5 military bases. Where if there's a military base, there's going to be a government contract. And then you see here, 30%, you divide that into the 172. So you know that only those, it's really probably what, 50 companies out of the 172 that are really winning contracts that are in here, that's located here in Georgia. There's a problem. So I tell the businesses here in Georgia that are in that program, go to Alabama. Alabama don't have that much competition and they look like they're balanced. But what's happening in this program, they have a special set aside for what they call Super 8As, Alaska Native corporations. That's getting ready to be my next fight because they are allowed to receive sole source contracts, non-competitive contracts, up to $100 million. And it is staffed by white males. That's a problem. But again, my goal is to get you educated so that we have a voice. And you can see the split in Florida. So my Hispanic brothers and sisters are killing it in Florida. But our goal is to get you into the game. This is the website where opportunities are posted every day, sam.gov. SBA's resource partners, and most people will tell you, start locally, get your E's, your DBEs, your WBEs, all these E's, because you're not ready to compete on the federal level. I totally disagree. Because on the federal side, the government set aside contracts specifically for small businesses that are called RFQs, requests for quotes. Those are buys that are $250,000 and below. And that's what we encourage you to start out with. I have one student in her first year, she won 8 of those. You all can go on the website and listen to her. She won 8 contracts, just going after the low-hanging fruit. And you're not competing with as many people. If you think about it logically, if you're going after local and state contracts, you're competing with everybody in that area. Whereas with the federal government, I do not have to be in that state to win that contract. I can find a contract in Hawaii and win that contract. Your goal is to staff it. This was an example of an opportunity that came out that are posted for those RFIs. They wanted what? Carpet replaced? Right? Floors replaced? Isn't that something you real estate agents deal with? Don't you all know vendors? Carpet.
Yeah.
So all you're doing is finding a vendor to replace the carpet. This is the example of the get in and get out. This was another one for that came out for underwriting. This is under the 8A program, under HUD. You all work with that industry on a day-to-day basis, right?
Correct.
So it's understanding what they're looking for. Project manager, loan closing. Y'all deal with that. And this is a 5-year contract. And this is an example, but this was specifically set aside for the 8A program. Also, the agencies have forecasts. I like HUD. HUD updates their forecast every month. And you can see what they're getting ready to offer. This is you can just scan that and you can go to their forecast and you can see what they're getting ready to forecast for the last quarter. This again, an example. And I like this because it's new. New contracts mean I'm not competing with anybody. Where you have recompete, that means someone currently has that contract. So do you all do conference planning as part of real estate?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
That's open house. So to help you understand how you transfer open house to event planning, it's the same skill set. Hello. Okay, so to get into this game, you have to self-certify in this database. This database is still relatively new. They launched that probably back in 2012, and it's still, we used to call it the SBA such a mess, because that's your first test in getting into this space, getting registered in SAM. It has a lot of bugs in it. You can self-certify as a small business, veteran-owned, service disabled, and small disadvantaged. Although they've now put the veterans program as a formal certification, and SBA is managing that program as well. So there's 4 programs that requires a formal certification. The 8A program, which is a business development program. The Hub Zone program, which is designed to build communities, and the women-owned program, and the service disabled. So for the 8A program, hear me now, I do not push you to that program until you're ready, because this program is the only program that has a term limit on it, and you're only allowed to be in it one time. By being in this program, it allows you to go to any federal agency, and they can award contracts to your business up to $4 million on any single award, called a sole source. You're not competing with anyone. This pool of money, the rest of the world will never, ever see. To get into this program is based on primarily 2 things: you being socially and economically disadvantaged. Previously, the rules stated that if you were family members that had a business, that family members, they would scrutinize family members applying into the program. They've now changed that rule. And so the game that we now need to play is, we have one company go through, and then you're always going to have a second company following behind you. So when you graduate, you've already begun to mentor someone else to take over your contracts, but allowing you 18 years in that program. So if you're married, you can have the husband and the wife start a business, but you all cannot support each other. What you do behind closed doors is on you, but on the outside, you're 2 separate entities. Now that again allows you 18 years in the program. Are y'all hearing me on that?
Yes, we are.
Yes, ma'am.
Amen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
My real estate agents, on your tax returns, you cannot come in this program as a broker.
Okay.
Your tax returns, there's going to be a code on your left-hand side called a NAICS code. It's probably your accountant probably put the real estate agent broker code on your tax returns. It needs to have the 541611 industry code. That's the management consulting code. That's a catch-all. Because if you remove your title and understand what you really do, it is management, project management. That's where I have to work with you guys to understand this picture that someone, I got off I got it off of Facebook. And again, people just see the real estate, but they don't see all these other tasks that you all are doing. And so we're helping you to take these tasks and put them in functional areas that now you're selling to the government. So government needs social media. Every time there's a change in presidencies, they need photographers because you taking picture. Every president has a picture in every federal building. So I need you guys to think outside of the box with that. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes.
And that next code is 541611.
That is correct.
Thanks.
Now, the age, also, you all tend to have 4 or 5 businesses. Please get rid of these businesses. You only need one business. If you have multiple entities outside of it holding real estate, I'm okay with an entity that's just like a holding, a pass-through. But if you have multiple entities, me as a government employee, that becomes my headache because I have to have tax returns, profit and loss statements for all of those entities. And if you have revenue coming through all of those entities, SBA is going to ask, well, which entity are you truly serving? Because part of that program requires that you're full-time under the entity that you're applying for in the program.
Okay.
Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
So you did kind of answer my question though, because right now I'm a real estate agent, and I have a LLC and I have properties in there, but in the process of getting my broker's license. So I didn't know if I needed to create another business for,
Yes.
me brokering.
I would, because again, if someone sues you, you want to be able to protect those properties. And that legal entity is your shield.
Okay.
Okay. The Hub Zone program is based on where your business is located. This program is designed to build communities. I like to say it's similar to what Magic Johnson did. What did Magic Johnson do? What does Magic Johnson do?
Opened up businesses in underserved communities.
And hired from within those communities, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's the same thing for this program. It's designed to build communities. So by being in this program, as long as your business is located in a hub zone and 35% of your employees live in a hub zone, it doesn't have to be in the same hub zone that your business is in, you can qualify into the program. For the 8A program, the social component of the program, as long as you're a member of any one of these ethnic groups, you automatically qualify. However, if you're not a member and you're able to prove that you've been discriminated against, they do allow that. I have to update this. Your economic, they're going to look at your tax returns. They've now increased it to $850,000. So SBA is going to look at your tax returns and your adjusted gross income. As long as it doesn't exceed $850,000, minus any equity in your primary home and in your business, then you meet the criteria for the economic status. If you have a rental property, that's going to count, the equity in those rental properties will count against you. Are you all clear with that?
Can you repeat that again, please?
Your SBA is going to look at your adjusted gross income, and as long as it does not exceed 850,000, I have to update this, minus any equity in your primary home and in your business, you meet the threshold. Any rental property that you may have, that equity will go against that $850,000. So that's going to count against you.
Got it.
The other component of this is, and this is, I guess, my pet peeve, because that just us system is just us. For those who have touched that system and trying to start a new life, this program allows them to apply into it as long as they're not on parole or probation. It may take them a little longer, but they can start a business and get into this program as well. It's all about economics. That's what that Just Us system is about as well. So let's now give them hope and help them be able to change their economics for their families. The Hub Zone, there's no term limit. Again, applies to purchase over 3,000. You recertify every year. In this program, you also get the benefit of having sole source contracts up to $4 million and competitive contracts as well. The difference between this program and the 8A program is, in order for the agency to award a sole source contract under this program, they have to have at least 2 businesses that are qualified. That's called the rule of 2. So the game we play in here is we have 2 businesses that are in that program. You guys cut the deal before you submit the bid. If I win, I'll subcontract to you. If you win, I'll subcontract to you. That way you're helping the agency, enforcing the agency to try to do a sole source to eliminate competition. Are y'all with me?
Yeah, but I didn't quite understand that. You're saying it's a rule of 2?
Correct, meaning the agency has to have at least 2 businesses that are qualified on that contract in order to designate it as a sole source to one of the 2 companies.
And these are for Hub Zone. This is for all the Hub Zone contracts.
That's for all Hub Zone contracts.
Okay.
And you also get what they call a 10% price evaluation preference for any contracts that are full and open, meaning open to anyone. If someone that's not a part of the program and they submit a bid, let's say their bid is $550,000, your bid is $535,000. No, let's say that company outside of the program, their bid is $500,000. Your bid is $535,000. The government's going to put 10% on that $500,000 company, making their bid $550,000. Yours remain the same. So that's what the 10% price evaluation preference means. Your principal office must be in a Hub Zone, and 35% of your employees must live in a Hub Zone. So if I'm a home-based business and my home is in a Hub Zone, will I qualify for this program, someone?
Yes.
Yes, very good. This is the map. You can scan the QR code and put your address in, and it'll let you know whether or not that address is considered in a Hub Zone. I did one, I was in Orlando. I did one for this area, the hotel that we were in, so that you can see what happens when you put the address up and what it will say. So the area that we were in was qualified as a Hub Zone. The women's program is broken into 2 components. economically disadvantaged and WOSB. The economically disadvantaged program mirrors pretty much the 8A program. They're going to look at your economic status. Once you are in the economically disadvantaged, you do not have to resubmit another application for the WOSB. You're automatically qualified into this program. This is the website that you go to get that certification. Again, it's 4 different websites that SBA uses for these programs, which is crazy. But this is the website that is used for the women's program. In order to
I have a question. What if you just happen to not live in that zone that you were talking about? Would that mean that you would not be able to open a business? I want to do the contracts with the government?
if you've not been qualified through that program, you cannot qualify if your business is not located in a HUD zone.
Oh, okay.
To qualify for this program is 3 ways. You can self-certify, and I always encourage people to do it themselves rather than paying a third party, because they have control over your documentation and you have to provide them the documentation anyway. So go ahead and do it yourself. So part of the program will help you and provide the checklist of what they're looking for in that program. The eligibility requirements, again, all of these programs require someone owning 51%. This program, again, is still relatively new. What I realized when it passed law, I think that was like in 2014, all the husbands was calling, trying to see if their wives can qualify into the program. Hear me now, you cannot lie to the government. We have databases that I can have access to that others you can't see. They're asking that you must work full-time in the business. There's no minimum amount of time. There's certain industries that you can justify not necessarily having to work full-time doing what they're defining as working hours. You can look at janitorials. You can look at IT. So again, not really that much requirements for this program. The veterans program, again, there's no term limits. I have to update this because all certifications now are going through SBA's database. If you go to SBA, they just started that certification program, and it is they're going to grandfather those who have already received their certifications from the VA, but you have to go through SBA to complete that process. Do I have any veterans online?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you guys for your service. And definitely we want you all to get into the game, and every place that you've been in the military, we're going to find contracts that are in that area. I wanted to provide you all with some sample government websites so that you can get a visual of how we help you all to create a business model. In the end, everybody is doing the same thing. This is one of my old successful 8A companies, and these are his areas. So what we try to help you to do is create these divisions based on things that you're already doing, and it makes sense because every agency is going to need administrative support. Every agency is going to need training. Every agency is going to need IT. And your goal is to create a business model and services that the government is offering that has nothing to do with your skill set. For some reason it's not clicking. I also, this is Labrisha. This is the young lady who just won. Actually, she did win a contract for managing USDA's real estate industry. This was a $1 billion contract for 10 years. But you can also see over here that, again, she's still not pigeonholing herself. Because again, every agency is going to need these services. Are y'all seeing this visually?
Yes.
And it's stuff that you're already doing, right? I showed you on sam.gov, but this is the website that I like the best when you're looking at opportunities. When you go to this website, the reason I like it is because it's organized by the way the government is procuring its opportunities. It's a free website, but sam.gov is challenging to find opportunities. So I like this as my shopping website. I go here every day. What is the government buying? And you're going to see their acquisitions, and they're going to tell you how many opportunities are out daily and the number of opportunities in those industries that are posted daily. Source of Salt is what they call a market research. They're just trying to first determine what businesses are out here. So our goal is to get you to use the same language that the government is looking for, is using in these opportunities. And so when I look here, I'm just seeing, well, what is, as it looks at low-hanging fruit. And there's something I'll do. It's just finding somebody that helps with the title and closing. Y'all have relationships. This is courier services, administrative. So that's why I was saying there's no need to pigeonhole yourself based on your skill set. And to me, I think that's been the biggest challenge for people in this space, understanding I don't have to know. Think of business like baseball. And we always want, basketball, we always want to encourage our children to be LeBron and Stephon. And I'm saying to everyone, if LeBron and Stephon is making $200 million, how much is the owner making? And he doesn't have to know anything about basketball. His goal is to get his dream team every year so he can make more money.
Mhm.
That's why Jerry Jones does what he does. He don't really care nothing about those players. He care about that money though.
It's the money. So right here, a French language teacher. Do I need to know French language? Where would I go? What would I do for this particular opportunity? Someone. Where would I look? Huh?
You would solicit or put out a job description for French-speaking individuals or individuals that are fluent in French, whether they're French
I would go
teacher.
to the universities.
Yes,
Yes,
for my child's school.
Yeah. What is that? So this is what I'm helping you all to understand of getting out of your way. This right here is one of the students. Her first contract, just so that you can see, this is real. I don't guarantee anything. Hear me now. I don't guarantee because you have to put the work in. This young lady, her contracts, let's see. This is a contract that she won. These are the low-hanging fruit, I call it, the hit and miss. The government needed meeting space for a 3-day event. She found a hotel. Their cost was $48,000. You see what she put her cost in, $104,000. Just meeting space. Down here, she won. You see how many offers received? She was the only one. So she made a $60,000 profit off of that contract.
Mm.
The government, what was this one? And this was a 5-year. I think this was landscaping, I think. Commerce. That was a 5-year. That was a landscaping. She's here in Georgia. The contract is in Miami. She's not a landscaper. Your goal is to manage the project, manage the subcontractors.
Mhm.
Is that sinking into everybody yet?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And this one right here was, they needed porta potties. This was our very first contract. Yeah, porta potties. So it's enough out here for everyone. That's the mindset that we have to have in order to change the dynamics in our community. It's enough out here. Let's pull our resources and skill sets together and go after the $100 million contract. That's my goal. That's my vision. So these are just some of the websites that you would learn in the program. Also, when I left SBA, my goal was to create community. And that's what we have here. Once you complete the program, as you're looking at opportunities, and let's say you see a contract in California, you're here in Georgia. Now this is how we begin to use each other and reach out. Let's learn the game. Everything is in here. There is almost 2,000 people in this database. I say we should never ever have to leave the house, because again, it's enough opportunities for everyone, and we have to learn how to play the game and beat the game. Amen. Amen. I say amen myself. So again, the program is broken into 3 modules. Maximum class size is 25. It's 19, I'm just catching all my mistakes today. It's actually 18 weeks. It's $19.97, $1,000 if you want to bring in an additional person, maximum 2. No refunds. We do allow up to a year to return and retake the cohort class with no instructor. So the recordings are always going to be there for a year. Every week through each module, you're going to have homework assignments and lab assignments, but all of it is applicable towards your business. Government ready, that module, we're putting you into teams, helping you create that marketing strategy and leveraging those databases. The 3rd module is all around the All Small Mentor Protege program and the 8A program, so that you understand how you're going to leverage these programs with a strategy. But here is flushing out a business model. I like to say we're dressing you up to go to the prom, looking like everyone else. Understanding that you don't have to know anything about those contracts to win the contracts, but you do have to look like what everyone else is offering. The next class is Wednesday, May 17th. That's 8 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You meet weekly with a live instructor. As I said, you're going to also have lab assignments and homework assignments, especially in this module, but it's all applicable towards your business.
Open your eyes.
We also have office hours for additional support every Tuesday. And that helps with all of the other classes and other cohorts coming together. So we can support the new ones coming in. Because what always happens, everyone comes in and they're overwhelmed, they're overthinking, or over anxious. Whereas the ones that are further along in the program can say, calm down, it's gonna be all right. We were where you are. And you get to hear where they are. We also have lab sessions for those who may have challenges with the technology, because technology is key. You have to learn these databases. You have to understand why you're going to those databases. I've also created templates, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. All of that was based on my first business, and most people aren't going to give you this information because that's their proprietary information. My goal is, I'm a visual person. What does it need to look like in the end? If you show me something in the end, I can model that. And once you understand the format and what the government's looking for, you're going to use that across the board because the government is uniform. Again, these are some of the examples that you would be responsible for completing in that first module. Again, everything is applicable towards your business. In the second module, this is what the team have to complete as a team within that 6 week. And then we're going over an RFP. If you like to purchase the book, you can. It's That's Crazy. This Recognize Crazy and Run, maybe give you some insight and prevent some things happening for you. And that is the link. So I think that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Anybody have any questions?
My only question is that if I'm not in the right location to do it, then what do I do? Then it's like I will not be able to. You understand? If I'm not in that zone that I'm supposed to be, then if that's not where I live, then I will not be able to.
That's just one program. There's 5 other programs. That's not necessary. Again, for your small business first. Those other programs are just the graveyard.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Hey, Ms. Paula, can you please explain the 2-person concept again?
The rule of 2.
Mm-hmm.
If I have 2 businesses in that particular program.
No, ma'am. As far as joining the.
Oh, okay. Yes. One person has to pay $19.97. The second person pays $1,000. That's between you 2 guys. So you can split the cost. I'm just trying to offer some incentive to split the cost between the two companies.
I have a question. This is Dakota Anderson. Do you accept American Express?
PayPal may. Everything runs through PayPal.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Okay.
And I'd like to say, yes, it does. I actually paid American Express through PayPal.
There you go, Sean. There you go.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Any takeaways?
I'd just like to say thank you so much, and I'm very excited.
Okay. So you all see the vision, and you have to see yourself in this. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I can only give you so much. But our goal is to create a community and us understanding that's what they're afraid of. To collectively coordinate. Yes.
Ms. Watts, my question is if we want to sign up, my sister and I, so I just wanted to know can we just have one PAL account and we just make the payment through that one account, or does it have to be 2 separate PAL accounts?
That's the PayPal. I'm out of that. Whatever you arrange with PayPal, that's okay with you. I'm out of PayPal.
Do we have to call you to send us no?
No,
Just
ma'am,
go.
everything is in PayPal.
Yes, and I'll just explain what you want to do is just go and register for the class.
Mhm.
Then when you register for the class, it will ask you, do you want to register 1 or 2 people? Then it'll ask you, you want to pay the
Okay,
$97 or the $29.97.
okay,
Thank you, Miss Davis.
thank you.
All right, Miss Cochran, yes, ma'am.
I have, so are all the meetings, are they at night, like 7 p.m. for me, I'm in Central, but are the meetings at night, all of them?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm. Mr. What was your question?
Yes, how you doing? My name is Benjamin Guy. That's our business name.
Okay.
I was just trying to find out, long term for you, and your agency. How long are you trying to be a part of this process with the collective as we move forward together? Because I know that you have some other goals yourself. And I know you talked about it, but I just want to know long term. What's your long term vision about what you're doing?
3 to 5 years. Right now, we have 7 trainers. My goal is all the SBA people that have that knowledge, they're now on this side, and I'm also bringing industry people that have the experience. So I will not be training this cohort. This will be, the trainer he's managing currently a $200 million contract. I can't get y'all there. So I need someone that have that level of experience and bringing all of our experiences into the pot. The more we have, the more knowledge we have, the better we are in supporting you guys in building the community. It's millions and millions of dollars out there. My goal in the end, have an end goal. Don't get into this without any end goal. Know where you're going to take that business. And for me, in that first business, it was to build it up and sell it, because that's what my mentor showed me. When I look at him, and I'm going to show you, and he was only in the game 6 years. He sold his business to this organization. And this is how we truly create generational wealth for $27 million. So when I dream and I think big. And because I've seen it, it's real. And we need to think big, and we need to show our children how to think big, because the system, again, is just designed for us to work. And I never did well. I tried to be a good government employee for 7 years. I tried to follow the rules, but I'm always about the underserved and us understanding this game. And up in DC, there's 1,700 businesses in the 8A program. How many of you have ever actually heard of the 8A program before today? Can you show that? Look, everyone else, but no one is really teaching us how to leverage that program. What I saw on the inside would be, I had 40 businesses that I was responsible for, because once you're in the program, you're assigned a person like me for the 9 years. And out of the 40 businesses, maybe 5 or 6 were truly winning contracts. The other 35, they just give up. And you only have one time in here. And this program is real. And you have access to contracts that nobody else will ever have. And everything is paid in these contracts. Yes. Yes, Ms. Cochran?
Yes, Austin. Austin is my first name.
Okay.
So I heard, because I've been doing a lot of research on government contracts for the past probably 2 months. And what I've heard with the 8A program is that it's for larger businesses that are bringing in like millions of dollars to scale them to billions of dollars. That's the information that I got.
No, ma'am, that's not true. That's the street.
Austin.
It's out here for everyone. And just look, y'all making me go there. Here, I'm gonna show you something so that you can see of contract. that I came in, no, not this one, I came in actually third on. My feelings were truly hurt. But I just want you all to see how it really works, how we have to think of things differently. This is a proposal. And again, all of this is included in your class. Hold on. So that you get a general idea how things run. This was for it was a $30 million proposal contract. These are all full-time people for a whole year. All right, the government hired me to hire these people to work on these contracts, and I'm giving them a raise each year. Over here, the government's also know it costs me to hire these employees, so the government's going to reimburse me for fringe benefits, give them health insurance, vacation, everything is being reimbursed. And then here, the government is going to reimburse me a part of my salary, the partner's salaries, rent, overhead, everything is going to be categorized in here. Over here are pass-throughs. Then I had a subcontractor. There was travel associated with it. So that's the travel. And then here is another category. The government's going to reimburse me because part of my salary is going to come out of there, the partner salary. I needed to hire a bookkeeper to process all of this money. Her salary came out of here. And then at the end, this was my profit. After everything is paid per year, this was my profit. Had I won that contract, just on this one contract, this would have been my total profit. Not bad, huh?
Not bad at all.
I'll take it.
So it's us understanding really how this works, because in the end, it's our tax dollars. Nobody's associating our tax dollars with these contracts. Are you all associating tax dollars with contracts?
Yes, ma'am.
And for me, it was twofold, meaning, and again, if you all have to leave, I'm just rambling here, don't mind me. It's twofold. Because I had a contract that was processing grants, I got to see the inside on grants, because typically our community go for grants. Grants are harder. In the end, it's all about the tax benefit. Once I understood grants, I had started a nonprofit and I had my father in charge of it. Because I knew when my for-profit started making money, boom, I'm going to put that money into the nonprofit as a tax shelter. And I also wrote it if I want to get grants. So now I'm getting grants and contracts. It's the same money, same process, our tax dollars that everyone else uses, but we don't even know where to even begin to have a seat at the table. So that's why I'm passionate that we get it and understand it. And for me, as that 25-year-old up in DC, planning these events at the White House and all these large agencies, and start sitting in and saying, oh, this is how that really works. Putting the dots together. It makes sense.
Hey, Paula.
Yes.
Does the same instructor teach the entire course?
Yes.
Okay.
But I also I'm generally doing the office hours on Tuesday. So I support the instructors because it is a whole lot of information. If you're serious, you're going to have to be committed and serious. The way it's structured is building blocks. Each week, you're getting a little piece of the puzzle. We're giving you pieces of it, and people always are overthinking it. And I'm just saying, just stay where you are. You're gonna get to that point because I've really laid it out for everyone. And so the office hours is to go into a little bit more deeper instructions to provide additional support.
Thank you.
Hey, Ms.
All
Paul,
right. Yes.
quick question. I know you already have a team established and everything, but I just wanted to just ask you for somebody that's, you know, I'm a disabled veteran. So I'm also disabled by the Social Security Administration. So I have not worked, you know, since 2018, 2019. Looking at this opportunity, is there any chance to like actually work for GPI and still have opportunity to do the contracting as well? Do you guys have any opportunities?
As we continue to grow, and we are growing, always looking for people that understand and have the same passion that I have. For me, money has never driven me, and I think the partners, they never understood that. Money come and go.
Got that.
I want people that have the same spirit and that this thing lives long after I'm gone, because this is the platform for the great-great-grandchildren that they know. All right, you guys, I thank you. We only have 20 slots left. 5 people, actually 6 people have already prepaid. So this will be a first come, first serve. And I have one more. I'll be out at a couple of events next week. So we've been actually selling out in the cohorts.
I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Yes. If you have some other colleagues or individuals that weren't or didn't have the opportunity to take part in this first phase that we are participating in now, how would we get them this information?
Next Saturday, I'll be repeating. And also, if you all could please put your email in the chat. And we'll also send a copy of the recording out.
All righty.
Quick question, Paula, just in case, if let's say we don't get to make the May 17th class, the next class starts, is it after this one?
It'll be June 14th.
June 14th, okay, thank you.
Okay, well, yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate
What's some closing words? I just want to hear what y'all heard, because I talk a lot. What did y'all hear?
I heard that there's
Collaboration.
plenty of opportunity for us to go in and get started.
Okay.
I heard this is bomb.com, but I want to tell everyone I got a lot of information that was shared today from Recognize Crazy and Run. I highlighted all through that book. I'm telling you the tax information, and I already have a grant writer certification. So Paula and I spoke months ago. We were talking about the proposals, but I already saw the many opportunities, some that weren't discussed today. This is something you guys really want to do. And she's not selling me anything. She's not asking me to do this. I'm seeing these great opportunities, and I've already seen the millions. So I just want to say, get that book. It was very helpful. I read it in a day, less than a day, few hours. I couldn't put it down. It's very funny, but it's a lot of information that I can see I'm going to apply to my business. So,
Or not apply.
Yes.
Or not apply. Those are my hard lessons learned. Thank you, Ms. Davis.
Miss what is this book she's talking about?
That's Crazy, Recognize Crazy and Run. That's the book I self-published.
Okay. And how do we get it? We can just go to Barnes and Noble and get it?
You can go to Amazon or scan the code right there.
Okay.
Thank you so much. I think the most important piece for me was not to pigeonhole yourself and to kind of think broadly. So that was super important.
What I liked is, this is Dakota Anderson. What I liked is you're talking about generational wealth. And I have a daughter that's finishing grad school, and she's actually in the process of writing grants for a program that she's involved in, which has to do with a camp for the arts for underprivileged youth. And I would just say, if anybody has children that are in college or college bound or what have you, that this is definitely something that they need to know about and have an opportunity to put a footprint on.
That's right. Very good. All right, you guys, it's 11 o'clock. We probably are a while. So
Thank you.
I'm getting ready to go play. So thank you.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, Kimberly.
Paula.
Miss Lumpkin, how you doing?
And thank you, Ms. Watts. We appreciate it.